Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with a preview for Cheltenham Day 1. Just give me 1 second. That's it, make sure my camera's not on. So, I'm going to start with a race card. So, it's a head scratching Cheltenham for the first day. Very interesting. And I'm going to talk you through it and then I'm going to show you what bets I've put on so far. The main stake so far has been based around free bet. So it's where I've just followed my opinion, chucked the bet on. But come Monday, I should be using my own money. So I should be probably, well, I don't know yet. That's the top and bottom. So I'm going to start with the first race. So there's normally or an Irish hot pot. Well, it looks like we've got Kopek Des Bordes or whatever it's called. First time headgear. We've also got another horse, William Money, first time headgear. So the conspiratorial side of me says that William Money could run a good race based on the Michael O'Sullivan, who's unfortunately lost his life. There will be. It is called the Michael O'Sullivan Supreme Novices. There will also be what they are saying is the biggest cheer on the first day, based on it being the Michael O'Sullivan race, Supreme Novices. As you're well aware, Michael O'Sullivan did a lot of rides for Barry Connell, so it could be a topical winner. Um, they always say it won't be a dry house in the won't be a dry eye in the house if this horse wins. Will it win? I don't know. So let me get into it. I'm not sitting on the fence, but I will tell you. Um, I believe that this Kopek des Boards, or I'm sure it's pronounced something different than that, but I don't think it's going to have to be anything special to win the race. I honestly don't. It's the best horse in the race already. There has been a little bit of a drift, which is a little bit concerning. But what concerns me is why are they putting first time headgear on it? If it's the best horse in the race, I don't know. So I saw the race last time that actually won, and it won well. It finished strongly. So that's enough about the favourite. So what can beat it? So Romeo Coolio. So what I like about this horse is there's also another story behind it. Jack Kennedy is making a reappearance. He's made a comeback since the 3rd of March. So there'll also be a story behind Jack Kennedy where is also a jockey that has been or that has had its fair share of bumps and scrapes. Do I think this horse has got a chance? Yeah, if the favourite doesn't quite run to form, I think this horse has got every chance. It's also got the traditional Cheltenham form. However, it's in the bumper, the championship bumper. So it ran Jasmine Devoe to 1 3/4 lengths when it ran an absolute cracker, and then what? And then not too long after 1st of May, it ran disappointing. Um, these bumper horses, a lot of them tend to want further in time. So not all of them, but they can do, and I think this horse definitely wants further. Is it quick enough for this race? If it's not a great race, in my opinion, if the favourites are decent, and I'm seeing question marks over a lot of the field. Um, I don't know if this horse is quick enough. If I'm being fair, it will be prominent throughout, and I think it is a battler. The story could be all about Jack Kennedy. So I think Romeo Coolio has probably got the obvious alternative chance, but is it quick enough? My selection is Salvatore Mundi. And don't get me wrong, there's loads of question marks over this horse as well. Why have I gone for it? Well, I'll be honest, it's a bit bonkers why I've gone for it, because partly I've gone for it because of the owner, Mrs. J. Donnelly. A lot of very good horses. She's also got State Man also on the card later on. This horse, I've gone for it based on its first two runs, and I know it sounds bonkers. It ran in Orte, beaten 1 3/4 lengths by Sergino. For me, that is the best form, pretty much, in the race. It then, I think I backed it on this day at Cheltenham in the Triumph Hurdle. It was never put in the race, so it ran 17 lengths behind Marlborough. So this horse has got course form. even though it was never put in the race. Held up rear, not fluent 3 out, headway 2 out, no impression. Yep. Um, Very warm race. Majborough, very good horse. Salva, I think, has done okay since. Nürburgring by Joseph O'Brien has also done well. We're not talking about the ones that pulled up, so it doesn't really matter. I find it interesting the fact that it's running in this race. So, as preparation for this race, it's ran in two complete non-events. It was 1 to 12. It went straight to the front at Tipperary and beat a horse with a race and post rating of 62. Yeah, it's basically had a day out, won in a canter. Doesn't mean the canter doesn't mean impressive, but it did raise a racing post rating of 146, which puts this horse right into the place terms. It then pretty much it ran in a stronger race. Yep, as you can see, didn't jump with fluency. Well, I'm thinking, is this because the horses that it's coming up against are not good enough? Is it racing lazily? Is William Mullins trying everything he can to get it beat, but he just can't get it beat? I don't know. So it's had 2 days out so far this year. This horse will be running in a much more competitive race, but the last time it ran in a much more competitive race was behind Sergino, where it ran a cracker. But it was midfield that day. Yeah. Also, Margeborough ran a decent race at Cheltenham on heavy ground. Does he want heavy ground? I don't know. Held up rear. So I think that this horse has ran what's possibly two okay races with conditions against it, as in, sorry, race conditions against it, where it's actually made the running or it's been prominent, which I don't think it's wanted. So I'm going to take this horse as I have backed it. Oh, this is doing my head in. The betting keeps disappearing. So right, here we go. So what could be a decent favourite? I might even back the favourite with something like a £5 or £10 treble. This horse, Constitution Hill, which I don't fancy, but I will explain why in a minute, and Galloping Deschamps. Romeo Coolio, is it fast enough for the race? It could be the best alternative because the horse I'm backing, Salvatore Monday, um, I don't know too much about it. That's the problem. So let me get on to the more viable alternatives. So I'm just trying to think which way round it is. It's this one, I think. So work ahead. And when I say this one, it doesn't mean I fancy it. So let's go on to this race. So this horse looks very progressive. 9 to 2 in a point to point, and then it ran at Navan, ran behind Jasmine DeVoe, which also Romeo Coolio ran behind in the bumper. So work ahead, in touch with leaders, headway prominent to our no extra, no match for first two. Jasmine DeVoe, we know that it was. So Jasmine DeVoe, Romeo Coolio is there where it beat Romeo de Coolio. And then once again, this horse also disappointed at the Punchestown Festival. It then won very well when given nothing to do at 1 to 3 in a 25 runner race, posting a decent racing post rating and basically disappointed since. So this form could also be questionable. It's over 2 mile. Could it also say that work ahead isn't quick enough? The fact that Jasmine DeVoe has been stepped up and tripped 2.5 mile, does it mean that work ahead isn't quick enough for this race it's running at Cheltenham either? I'm probably giving you more questions than answers, and then next time out, work ahead goes straight to the front, described as impressive, right? Okay, well it only achieved a racing post rating of 147. Well, Salvatore Monday also did a 146 and beat absolutely nothing. So it's funny that Work Ahead did a racing post rating of 147 and was described as impressive. Salvatore Mundi beat absolutely nothing, did a racing post rating of 146, and it's based on speed and all that kind of stuff. So they've got similar racing post ratings, but completely contrasting. Um, Work Ahead, you would imagine, has probably ticked a few more boxes in most people's um, build up to Cheltenham by winning impressive and beating William Money. But it's not particularly done a great deal. Yeah, it looked good in that race. But let me just break this one down. Work Ahead went straight to the front. Maydall went clear on turn after 2 out. Took keen hold. William William Money. Yielding ground. Redemption Day. Disappointing favour that day. Took keen hold. So did Work Ahead look impressive because the other two ran below par because they both were too keen? I don't know. Maybe so. So that could then say that Work Ahead could just be a plodder, whereas the other two, no, William Money and Redemption Day that day, both underachieved by running keen. But then you've got the first time headgear, which from a horse that ran keen last time, it's now got first time headgear. I know it's becoming a bit of a fashion where horses are doing that, but so you've got the time when it ran behind Work Ahead, and then second in a 20 runner field, didn't always jump. Well, my selection, Salvatore Mundi, also didn't jump that fluent. It's a right tricky race, this one is. And then at 4 to 6, settled towards rear, headway, and went second after 4. So halfway round, it was switched off. Um, for me, there's question marks. It'll either be, in my opinion, I think Salvatore Mundi has got a decent chance, and it's the second shortest price of the William Mullins crew. And when I say crew, it's got some other ones in it. So Romeo Coolio, I expect it to be prominent throughout. It may be tapped for toe, but if it's a decent pace and it's up there throughout, that Romeo Coolio might just stay on and win the race. Jack Kennedy will be lauded once again by ITV Racing for being for his comeback trail. Obviously, there'll be some tributes to Michael O'Sullivan, but then you've got the William Money connections with the Barry Connell stable with the Michael O'Sullivan. But then you go further down, you could have Fergal O'Brien does well with his Cheltenham runners, Tripoli Flyer, and then another selection which I wouldn't read too much into this because I actually typed this into Chat GPT and I pasted all the horses in, and it gave Carbor as the second top rated, or based on, but it actually thought it was a handicaps and it didn't. So then it dropped it down a bit to about fifth best. But it did fancy Carbor, did fancy sorry, ChatGPT did fancy Carbor to run a place. Well, I'm not going for that. I'm sticking with Salvatore Mundi. But what I would like Salvatore Mundi to do, I would like it to be mid division. If it's mid division, I would think they are actually trying on Salvatore Mundi to run its race and back up for the Mullins camp not getting the favourite over the line. But I do believe that Kopek de Boers is probably an obvious winner in my opinion. I'm not strong on it in one bit whatsoever because I think there's so many doubts. So that's why I've gone for Salvatore Mundi, and I do believe. Well, I do believe I will be having Kopek de Boers in a win treble. It's quite odd, really, because I'm going for horses in win trebles where I'm actually putting up more doubts and positives about them. So the 2 o'clock race, I will be showing you my bet that I've just put on. The 2 o'clock is right. I actually haven't had a bet in this race yet, so we'll skip this one. It's a 5 runner race. I might even add it to my 4 timer, but we'll see. So the 240 is the Ultima handicap, and I won't go too much into this because I've stuck basically to what I said. I have bagged Henry's Friend. I have added a Henry's Friend into my um, each way lucky 63. I will be having more bets. I might even be having another each way lucky 63. But what I've also had is I have had five selections in a forecast and tricast, and I shall tell you what they are now. Right, I was just double checking. So I shall tell you what the selections are. The selections are Creberley, number 17, Henry's Friend, number 8, King Turgeon, number 15, Famous Bridge, and Happy Go Lucky. Happy Go Lucky is a very interesting outsider that could well make another shortlist of mine for another each way bet. But you'll be notified of all these by Monday evening. So the 320, I like the look of this race to a degree, but I'm not going to go too much into it because I've made my selection. My selection is Joyeuse at 12 to 1, and it's Nicky Henderson because I think Nicky Henderson will have a decent festival in the races where it's a wide open handicap or he's got a progressive mare. And I think this Joyous has got is a progressive mare. So why have I gone against Lossiemouth? So this race is 2 mile 4 furlong, and obviously it's a mare's race. Right. This isn't the strongest reason why I've gone for. Um, so it's a 2.5 mile race. I don't like the fact that it fell last time. Yeah, regarding regardless of how well it was going, it fell last time. It jumped a fence and it bumped itself on the other side when it crash landed. I don't like that as a preparation. I know it's had time to school since, but it also finished second, never involved behind Constitution Hill. That was probably a prep race for um, a longer distance race, which is the 2 mile 4 mares race at Cheltenham. However, it sounds a bit odd. The reason why I'm going against it is because, right, took keen hold, it wasn't going away, but it ran below its official rating. It ran below itself, even though it won. It ran below itself when it beat T Hoopu. 156 with the Racing Post rating of 151. I always class it as when the Racing Post rating is above the official rating, it means it ran above itself. Regardless of whether it had to, it was 4 to 7 that day, and it was expected to win, but it ran below itself, but still won, which is you could say it's a positive still. Then at 2 to 11 over 2 mile 4 furlong, 155 ran to a mark of 149. It it was expected to win. It won. It won well, but it didn't have to run above itself to win. Is this a good sign or a bad sign? Well, I don't know. So 2 mile 4. Tell me something, Gil. It was odds on again, expected to win. It ran slightly above itself, very, very slightly on heavy ground. Well, it's quicker ground tomorrow. Will it like it? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't think it won. Sorry, I did say tomorrow. I meant Tuesday. It's good to soft ground at Cheltenham over 2.5 mile. I think it leaves it vulnerable. It may well win with its head in its chest, but I'd like to take it on with something. I've gone for Joyeuse. It's heading in the right direction. It comes to Cheltenham in good form, basically in the form of its life. But the form of its life isn't good enough so far, I'll be honest. So you've got the Taunton run. It had a day out at Taunton, yeah. They thought, oh, they've seen it won by half a length. It needs to improve on that. Well, it has done massively, but it's had over a year to do that. It wasn't seen out until Ascot, where it was beaten. Nicky Henderson's stable was still pretty quiet at this point. They missed Cheltenham, but it ran in this race. As you can see, the fact that it's going for this race is quite interesting. But 1 mile 7.5 furlong ran below itself, but all the team were out of form. Even up to Christmas, it wasn't doing a great deal. The Nicky Henderson stable wasn't. So travelled strongly. prominent, going okay, waiting for room, approaching last, not fluent, kept on, ran above itself, but that form's at Cheltenham. Was that a test to see whether it could run in this 2.5 mile mares race? Maybe so. So then they brought it out in a hot Newbury race, and it beat the horse that I backed that day, lump sum. It was described as impressive. So I do like the look of this. I think it's definitely heading in the right direction. Nicky Henderson is very good with his mares. The fact that it's by no risk at all, 12.6 furlong, tells me that this definitely wants 2.5 mile. I think this has got a right chance. This is definitely the kind of Nicky Henderson mould horse, and I like the look of it. And it's 12 to 1, which is I think personally, I think they're giving four places out in this race. I think it's a right bet at 12 to 1. I haven't taken the price. I do think Dysart Enos has also got a chance, but I definitely think Joyous. If this is a typical Nicky Henderson horse, he likes his mares. It's got loads to find on the ratings. I'm not going to kid you with that one. But we're looking at 12 to 1 for a place, and then let's see what happens after that. I just think Lossiemath, yes, it probably is head and shoulders above everything in this race. But 2.5 mile um, on quicker ground that it's familiar with. To be fair, yes, it was staying on behind Constitutional, but it was never put in the race at that day. So that's a 320. That's the Close Brothers Mares hurdle. So the 4 o'clock is the champion hurdle, right? Conspiratory. I can't even say the word now. Anyway, they may be conspiring. 4 o'clock at Cheltenham, the champion hurdle. Right. This is doing my head in with the betting because there's some firms not betting on it, so I'm having to try and find the Bet365 originally had their odds up because I was using that. Right, here we go. It's still not doing it right. So let me just tell you about the Cheltenham Champion Hurdle. Well, I remember years back there was a horse called Isterbrack, a wonder horse. Well, it had its problems towards the end, and what it did was it pulled up. I think after about four flights, when it had a similar profile to Constitution Hill, as in like it was a world beater, especially at Cheltenham in the Champion Hurdle. But then it was favourite, and there was question marks over it, and it pulled up halfway around. Well, I think Constitution Hill will either win this race or won't finish this race. Or should I say, it won't come in the placings. Whether you want to wait to lay it on the Betfair exchange or not, I don't know. But what I am doing, I'm having like a bit of a cover bet. So I think I'm probably going to have something like, I'll tell you what I'm going to have. I'm going to have a £10 treble. I'm going to have £10 on the favourite in the first race, the Copac des Boards, Margeborough, second selection, which I haven't had a bet yet, but I will be doing, and Constitution Hill. Yeah, it doesn't make a great deal. I think first one's even money, so that's 20 quid. Next one's, let's say 1 to 2, that's 30 quid. And this one's Constitution Hill. Will you get evens the day? I don't know. Unless this smelling a rat, you won't get evens on the day. It might make 50 quid for a tenner. If it's 4 to 6, yeah, you might make 50 quid for a tenner. So I think it's an interesting bet. But also, I'm going for an outsider. So I think they're taking Constitution Hill, and I think they're going to go after it because Constitution Hill, trained by Nicky Henderson. The second favourite is Brighter Days Ahead. So I'll click on that. So Brighter Days Ahead often races either leads or forces the pace or races prominently. Look, led and clear with one other. Led pushed along clear after, yeah. So it's always in Winterfog racing second, soon clear with one other. So it's always up there. Even what race was this? This was the mares. Took Keen Old in touch. So this horse has got loads of pace, and they've also put another horse in this race, King of whatever it is, King of Kingsfield. So Brighter Days Ahead always is always tanking and wants a furious pace. So led soon went clear. So this is clearly a pacemaker. But has this horse been put in there as a pacemaker to also cause issues for Constitution Hill? Because Constitution Hill always runs with like the choke out, but are they trying to burn it up? As in, like, because you've got King of Kingsfield, you've got Burdett Road that also likes to race prominently. Better Days Ahead also likes to force, like, be right up there with the pace. You've got State Man, first time cheek pieces. Press Leader, soon clear with one other. Took keen hold. It's going to be carnage. I expect them all to be 100 mile. It's turning into a 100-meter sprint when it's actually a 400-meter run round track. So I'm going for, call me crazy, I'm going for Golden Ace. Golden Ace, it's done nothing really this year apart from lose a bit of weight. So I think this is what's going to happen. It's got Cheltenham form. It's beat Brighter Days Ahead already. Travelled strongly in rear. Don't get me wrong. It needs to put up a huge performance to win this race, to win the champion hurdle, and it probably isn't going to win it. That's why I've had that bet on Constitution Hill. But it will be sat in the rear, getting a toe off a furious pace, in my opinion, towards rear. Yeah, over 2.5 miles. So it stays the trip, and it can put up a good performance on good ground. It won the. Oh, don't mind that. That's April. Sorry, forget that. So they brought it out, in my opinion, purely for Cheltenham. So it ran behind Lucky Place, which is a solid stick from the Nicky Henderson camp, towards rear, but in touch with leaders. Headway two out, switch right, pushed long, soon ridden and weakened final 110 yard. I'm not bothered about that one bit. Jockey said Mare did not stay the trip on season's first run. I'll tell you what that means. That means this horse was as fat as a pig on its seasonal reappearance on the 23rd of November. It then ran at January at Cheltenham, which I'm pleased about. 2.5 mile. This was probably a test to see, is it going for some kind of mare's race, or is it quick enough for the champion hurdle? Or will the champion hurdle break up, which it has done? It's a two-horse race, but a no-horse race, the champion hurdle. It's like, I think the champion hurdle should technically be a two-horse race, but all the yards with, sorry, two or three of the yards with horses that are trying to get Constitution Hill beat have got pacemakers in there that could actually turn the race on its head. So anyway, held up in rear, not fluent to out, not fluent, 5 out, headway, no extra. Did it not quite get over on the soft at 2.5 mile? I don't know. And did they expect it to be soft? So they sent it to Wincanton. So Wincanton's right-handed for a start, so it may not have liked that. That may also be the reason why it may, well, it still ran a decent race at Ascot. So it went to Wincanton, and this was a test for me. Jumped right throughout, prominent, disputed, outpaced, lost ground, and then it dug its heels in and it kept on. Don't get me wrong, it only beat Burdett Road, but I think everything is being set up for Cheltenham. So I'm expecting to see a fitter Golden Ace. You might think I'm bonkers. I think we've established that by now, that I probably am bonkers. I've gone for the lowest rated horse in the race, but it has got course form. Don't get me wrong, the vast majority have got course form in this race. I just think it could be a burn up halfway round. You've got Brighter Days Ahead forcing the pace. Burdett Road, front runner. King of Kingsfield, front runner. Constitution Hill, it could run with a choke out. Well, I say run with a choke out. No matter how fast they're going, it will want to go faster. State Man forcing the pace. Is it really going to be a reverse forecast between Golden Ace and Winter Fog? Who knows? Why has William Mullins even sent Winter Fog, that was beaten 30 lengths by Brighter Days Ahead, trained by Gordon Elliott? What's going off? The world's mad. So I'm going for Golden Ace, and what I'm hoping is, I'm really hoping, which they won't do because it'll turn it into a value race. I'm hoping they do 3 places instead of 2, which they're not going to. So I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to go for Golden Ace, but I'm also going to lay Constitution Hill for a place. That is one thing I am going to do, because if it wins with its head in its chest, fair play to it, and I backed it as a treble, like I said, £10 treble. Kopek de Boards, Constitution Hill, and Margeborough. But I'm actually going for Golden Ace in case my conspiracy side of it comes true, and you've got a 40-1 chance then. Whew, I'm shattered. I tell you what, in all these previews, has anybody ever given the conspiracy side? Because I'm going to give you another one in a minute. Only at charliewinters.com. Don't visit that website, it doesn't exist. The 440, it's a handicap. So I wanted to go for the conspiracy side again. So I backed a horse. I will probably have some forecasts. So I will be back at some point doing another video. So the 2 mile, I was looking, if I'm being honest, I don't want to be sounding a bit cruel, but I was looking for a Michael O'Sullivan kind of connection. So I looked at, and I backed something like this in the past. Ross O'Sullivan, it's no relative, so don't worry about that. But I have Ross O'Sullivan had the second in this race last year, 8-1, and this horse has got a similar kind of profile, but a better profile than that horse. The horse that comes second, trained by Ross O'Sullivan in this race last year, was rated much lower on the flat. This horse was rated much higher on the flat. They also run, both of them, at Punchestown as prep races. I think this horse has got a right chance, and I'm going for it. So the horse is called Slurrican. So there is a horse that I believe that is it in this race, Beyond Our Dreams. I can give you, yeah. Look, so 13-2. So just because my horse beat that horse, did it beat it? No, sorry, I finished behind it. I think come race day, Slurrican will be ridden a little bit more conservatively. I mean, a slight bit more. It's also, as you can see, it's got form on the flat, on good ground. So I'm thinking this heavy ground, this yielding, this soft, may have been against it slightly, but I do believe, yeah, there it's one on the soft. So don't read too much into that because I think it does handle it. I'm just thinking, even though its debut looked good, over 6 and 7 furlong, I'm thinking that this horse will prefer quicker ground than soft, although it handles soft, and clearly it handles heavy because it won last time. But I'm thinking with it not liking, if it didn't like heavy, it didn't put up too big a figure because it didn't win that easily. But I'm thinking if it were good ground, maybe it could have produced a bigger figure, but it would have gone up further up in the ratings. So I'm thinking it's been kept under the radar by racing on slower ground, or as it's progressing, racing on slower ground, which has like made its mark look more inferior than what it actually is. Because as you can see, it's progressed with every single run. So these are over hurdles: 97, 99, 105, 108, massive 119 to probably make it so it gets in this race. And then you'll see, hopefully, an even better horse come race day. We're flying through it now, aren't we? Right. Just let you know, I will be having some more bets, and I shall show my bets so far. But the 3 mile 6 race at Cheltenham, this price absolutely stinks, but I'm having it. So, sorry, I haven't taken the price yet. So I think the favourite for this race, Now Is the Hour, has probably been targeted this race because it's a typical targeting for the race, and I shall tell you why. I might include it at some point. So I think this horse is by Westerner. Westerner used to be a bit of a. I always remember it. I think he used to be trained by Martin Pipe, Westerner, and I remember it running in something like a 3 mile hurdle, and it was tailed off, and it came through, and I think it won the race. It was a bit of a dodge pot at times. I'm thinking, sorry, normally the horses want absolutely miles, right? So the only time it's tackled 3 mile is over rules. Sorry, under rules. Sorry, twice it has. 3 mile on heavy, huge rating increase compared to what it had been doing. Don't get me wrong, at Punchestown, this was part of the preparation, so don't worry about that. It was also nearly brought down, but conspiratorial side, maybe that was part of the. Basically, it's not even been put in a race yet. 2 mile 4 at Navan, it would not have wanted that. It was kept held up or midfield in an 18 runner field. When you want The race is 3 miles, 6.5 furlong at Cheltenham. Stiff Cheltenham, 3 miles, 6.5 furlong. It's basically 4 mile at air. That's probably what it's equivalent to. You would not be wanting 2 mile 4 at Navan. It's a day out. And it was probably also fat as a pig. Next run, nearly brought down at Punchestown. Another schooling session, 93. And then all of a sudden, probably to get into the race or something daft like that. No, it's no, not to get in the race. It was then given a race, and this is why it's favourite, because it's caught the bookmakers' eyes. There's probably been some money for it. Held up in rear, and it was never involved, but closing at the finish. That was at Haydock as well. Anyway, it wouldn't surprise me if that one won with its head in its chest, but I'm going for Transmission. It's not a strong fancy. I like the look of it. It's a garbage price, and I probably will be backing something else on the day. I do like the fact that Neil Mulholland, and I did fall into the trap. I did back it behind Constitution Hill, I think it was. No, Gowel Road. So it was held up last, never put in the race, and I thought it might have picked a few up late on, but it was never given a chance. But I'm not bothered about that. It was clearly a prep run. It absolutely loves Cheltenham, and I think it's got a chance. It's got to make some ground up on Haiti colours, but don't worry about that. Cheltenham Tuesday is a different day, so I'm going for Transmission. So here are the bets. So as you can see, forget the stake. It's an each way lucky 63. Salvatore Monday in the 120 at Cheltenham, 4 places instead of 3. Henry's Friend 240 at Cheltenham, 7 places instead of 4. Julius 320 Cheltenham. Golden Ace 40 to 1, 4 o'clock in the Champion Hurdle. Slurrican 440 in the Cheltenham Fred Winter, 6 places instead of 4. And finally, Transmission in the 520 at Cheltenham, 5 places instead of 4. And I'm going to show you, these are the forecasts and tricasts that I've had. So it's a 25 pence combination forecast, 5 pence reverse tricast. Creberly, Henry's Friend, King Turgeon, Happy Go Lucky, and Famous Bridge. You fancy any of those horses, I wouldn't put you off one bit. So those are all my bets so far. So I wish you the very best of luck. This is just another early video. So I wish you the very best of luck. Charlie Winters. I'll be doing another video Monday afternoon. Over and out. Cheers, mate.